If you're planning to buy a home in the next couple of months, I'm here to walk you through exactly what you need to do to make that process as smooth as possible. Too many people dive into the home buying process with a lot of anxiety and frustration because they don't truly have a clear plan. Honestly, guys, they end up endlessly scrolling through home search apps, watching their dream homes slip away because they weren't ready to make the move. But with the right steps, you can avoid all of the stress and confidently buy the home you love. What's up, guys? My name is Casey McEwen, and I'm a licensed real estate agent in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But before we get into today's video, if you guys are finding the content on this channel useful, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to always be notified when I release another video. Now, this particular plan is designed for those looking to buy within really the next 3 months, which is a pretty typical timeline for most home buyers. We're going to break this down into 3 separate phases, which are planning, home shopping, and closing. Now, first, you want to spend about 10 days on this first step. You can do it faster, but giving yourself time will allow you to help feel less rushed. Now, the planning stage is typically where you're going to find all of those individuals that are going to help you along the process. Now, make sure you do your due diligence and hire me as your realtor. Obviously, if you're not in the local DFW area, I can't represent you, but I can get you a tremendous realtor in your local area. Now, obviously, not every single person can use me, and they aren't going to use me even if they are in the DFW area, but make sure you interview agents, make sure you get connected with local mortgage brokers or potentially using your own small bank, and get connected with other mortgage brokers, because those are going to be your 2 top key individuals that are going to help you throughout this process, meaning a realtor and a lender. Now, those 2 definitely should provide a ton of value, but one thing that I will also provide as far as the planning stage, you're not gonna have to look for an inspector, because I already have a ton of contacts that I have vetted and used personally that I'm going to recommend for you. Now, obviously, these are always recommendations. They're not something that you're going to have to stick to, but there is a lot of planning that can be done before we actually start the home buying process. Now, the next step, you really want to dedicate around 80 to 90 days for this. Now, the more time you have to find the right home is definitely going to be the better for your chances of getting exactly what you want. Now, obviously, everyone's going to be on a different timeline here. I have folks that reach out to me that basically say, hey, my lease is ending in 2 weeks and I need to find something as soon as possible. They're paying an exorbitant amount in rent. So at the end of the day, just finding a home that's going to make sense for their current lifestyle and is certainly going to be better than renting can definitely be possible here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area within a couple weeks. Now, to also give you another example on the other side of the spectrum, I had someone reach out to me this past weekend that is essentially an agent outside of my market's friend, and they're going to be moving to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Well, they are going to be moving to the Dallas-Fort Worth area in June of 2025. We're talking about a solid 10 months away from now. There's not a lot of work that I can do really that far in advance. I can definitely get to know them. I can stay in touch with them, keep up with them on social media, or just kind of text them periodically to make sure that they're still indeed going to be moving here in 10 months. But 10 months is certainly more time than one needs to be able to go through the home buying process. And last but not least, this stage, you want to reserve the final 30 days for the closing process once you found your home and made an actual offer. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make is spending too much time scrolling through home search apps without being ready to actually take action. Now, this just builds up frustration and anxiety. Instead, focus on getting all of your planning done up front and first, so that when the right home comes along, you're actually able to jump on it and act on it, put an offer on it, and potentially call it your home. Now, there's nothing wrong with window shopping. I think we all do it in different variances of our life, whether it be, looking at cars online because we know our car is going to essentially give out in the next year, or whether or not, hey, I want to buy a house in the next couple years, so we hop on Zillow, or maybe we're just walking down the street and you literally are window shopping, taking a look at clothing. Once again, there's nothing wrong with window shopping, but if there is true intention there to buy a home sooner rather than later, just make sure you're not spending all of your time searching through homes on these various apps, especially searching through homes that are outside your budget. Speaking of budget, before you do anything else, take a close look at that budget. Write down your income and all of your expenses. Use a budgeting app or just a good old pen and paper, whatever works for you, to determine ultimately what your budget is going to be. Now, this step is crucial because it will help you understand what monthly payment you can comfortably afford for your new home. Forget about any rule of thumb here and focus on what feels right for your lifestyle. Obviously, make sure that you don't go heavily over your budget. I can't tell you how many times I have people set on a budget of $500,000 and then they send me a house that's $750,000. Needless to say, when they actually get the mortgage payment for that $750,000 house, they're right back down to $500,000. But also on the other side of things, if you're spending $500,000, the houses that are at kind of that price point are not going to be comparable to homes at $300,000 or $350,000. So yes, a mortgage is going to be much nicer to look at if you're buying a $300,000 or $350,000 house, but it's not truly comparable if your budget and most of what you're looking at is at that $500,000 point. Next, you need to make sure to get a pre-approval for that mortgage. Now, this will not only confirm that you can actually get a loan, but also help you understand what type of loan is going to be the best for you, whether or not that's conventional, FHA, VA, or USDA. Now, your lender will give you details like the maximum purchase price that you can qualify for, your estimated monthly payments, and total closing costs. You can start this process by contacting a local mortgage broker or just use one of the licensed real estate agents that I may be able to refer you. Every single one of those will have a good point of contact when it comes to lending. Now, take a couple days to sit down either by yourself or with your partner and make a list of what you need versus what you actually want in a home. Be specific about what is non-negotiable, like the number of bedrooms, your budget, etc., and what you're willing to compromise on. This will help you guide your home search and prevent disagreements later on. Now, if you're currently renting, figure out how you'll exit your lease. I have these conversations almost weekly, if not multiple times a week. Now, I can't tell you how many conversations I have on a weekly basis, having people reach out to me that are stuck in a lease, but they're wanting to purchase. They've got the funds to purchase, they've got kind of the flexibility with work to be able to purchase, but they're stuck to a lease, let's say maybe for the next 6 months, or even one conversation I had just last week where they literally just signed the lease. Now, every single state is going to be different, and truth be told, every single lease is going to be different, but I'm just going to say for the masses or a majority of who I speak to, it costs about 2 months rent in order to terminate a lease. Now, in the instance of last week, the rent is about $2,700. $2,700 times 2, that means in order for them to cancel the lease, they've essentially got to pay $5,400. Now, the good news is if you are working with a licensed real estate agent who can negotiate on your behalf, I'm actually going to negotiate more than that, but I'm going to negotiate that $5,400 to basically wipe out the cost of them terminating that lease and get them into a house much sooner, which allows them to actually make payments towards their principal versus just payments towards their landlord's loan, and have them in a house sooner versus later. Now, in the home buying process, there likely is going to be a situation where you're still renting and then also have to make a mortgage payment. Again, trying to advise you guys on making sure you're surrounding yourself with the right type of people. If you work with a realtor who understands this, they can kind of time it to where your closing date on your house and the actual last payment due for your rent don't overlap, so you're not actually paying rent and a mortgage, which for some could be a pretty significant expense. By now, you should have your mortgage pre-approval letter. Next, you need to find a real estate agent or just skip that step and use me, as I have continued to mention throughout this video. But again, all jokes aside, if you don't have a recommended real estate agent already, or maybe your best friend recommended a crappy real estate agent, make sure you're doing your due diligence, getting recommended a strong, experienced real estate agent that is not just going to write a contract or open a door for you, but actually work on your behalf. A good agent like myself, as I just mentioned, will help you navigate the legal aspects of buying a home and protect your interests throughout the process, and likely save you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. Now, don't wait until you're under contract to start thinking about a home inspection. Now, I mentioned earlier in this video, if you are using me locally here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I've already got plenty of recommendations, but make sure you do your research and find a reputable inspector as well, because a good home inspector is going to tell you probably too much that you want to know about this particular house, or really any house that you choose, versus a bad home inspector is just going to basically give you the bare minimum. And let's just say a month, a year, 5 years, or 10 years down the road, you definitely don't want to be in for any kind of surprises because your home inspector was lazy and didn't disclose some of the issues that were already an issue when you purchased the house. Now, with all your planning done, you can start shopping for homes. Now, use MLS Access through your real estate agent for the most up-to-date detailed listings. Realistically, look at homes within your budget and in your desired locations. Visit open houses to get a feel for what's available and start narrowing down your options. Now, when you find the right home, work with your real estate agent to make a strong offer. Now, a strong offer could vary depending on the house and whether or not it's been sitting, or if it was just recently listed with multiple offers. Now, once the seller accepts, you'll enter the closing process. Your lender and agent will guide you through steps like the home inspection, title search, appraisal, and finalizing your mortgage at the end of the day. After signing your closing documents, you'll get the keys to your brand new home. This 90-day plan will help avoid the common pitfalls of home buying and ensure that you're ready to move quickly when you find the home that you love. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you have any questions whatsoever about the home buying process, as I continue to reiterate over the course of this entire video, I've been doing this for the last 7 or 8 years. I've helped over 300 different clients myself locally in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but I am also connected with real estate agents all over the country that do this, again, not part-time whenever they have enough time to do so, but full-time agents that are incredibly experienced all over the country. If you do have any questions, whether it be local here or if it's anywhere in the country, I can get you connected. Just leave a comment in the comment section down below or reach out to me via email, text, Instagram, or just shoot me or just schedule a personal call and I'll reach out to you myself. Thanks again for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help. And stay tuned for the next video.